Okay, so just doing a video on the WFA1 and just going to do some comparisons to an AR just for the bulk group for this video, since I've seen a bit of commentary on social media that it uses AR this and AR that, and I think this will just help clarify that sort of stuff. So right now, just safety checking the firearm. I'm recording the audio separately from the actual video because the video on my the audio rather on my camera is pretty bad. Okay, so break down the gun as you've just seen. Depress the latch on the top of the gun. Out comes the recoil assembly. Charging handle comes out through the side because then you can move the bolt carrier group further to the rear when the gun is broken down at that point. Then to separate the upper and the lower receiver, you need to remove the front pivot pin. This is easier done with the gun and the lower just sitting in their normal position rather than with the lower and upper at 45 to each other, just because that places load on the pin. Here you can see the bolt carrier group. You can see the cam there with the cam pin. So as the bolt carrier group moves to the rear in the gun, the cam rotates and unlocks the bolt. So this is just the disassembly of the bolt carrier group. My gun is particularly stiff. I've got friends with these whose guns, they just have to push with a pin and are made to a bit of a looser tolerance. Mine's a very early production one. I've had it for a few years now, and so that's just an artifact of that. The current production ones aren't anywhere near as tight, from what I've seen. But it still breaks down the same way. It'd just be easier for any current production gun than this. So out comes that retaining pin that retains the firing pin, which now comes out. Once the firing pin's out, you can remove the bolt lug in that manner, in the firing pin retaining the cam lug, or cam pin rather. That's similar to an AR, that's the same way that works. So there's the bolt, actually. As you can see, it's a 8 lug bolt, and is similar, and I'm going to emphasize similar, not the same to an AR bolt. So here you can see this is an AR bolt carrier group. Okay, and for breaking down the AR bolt carrier group, for those that don't know, you remove a retaining pin, then you can remove the firing pin. As you can see here, the firing pins are similar. However, the Warwick's has a slightly different profile on the front end, so you can't use an AR firing pin in a WFA1. So with the bolt to the rear, you can rotate the cam pin and remove it. Out comes the bolt. And so I'll just show you in a sec here the differences. So as you can see, the profile is actually significantly different at the rear end. Okay. Your AR has gas retaining rings, which obviously serve no function on a WFA1, as that's a bolt action gun versus a semi-automatic. The relationship between the cam pin and the rest of the gun, or the cam hole rather, and the rest of the bolt, is significantly different. So it's it's just a different geometry because the gun's been made in a different way and designed to work in that way. So the bolts are not interchangeable with an AR in any way. That's something I had heard on social media. I just thought I'd like to correct the record. As you can see, they're completely different in design and function. The guns do use the same extractor and ejectors, but as far as the bolt carrier group, that's the extent of the interchangeability. Looking at the actual bolt carriers, you can see that once again, completely different. That's basically the summary of this video. Hope that helps clarify stuff. I'll just tack some footage of the WFA1 in use on the end here, just for those that are interested. And have a good day.
Okay.